In this video, I'm gonna share 3 amazing chess puzzles that's gonna enhance your knowledge and also improve your tactics. And these puzzles are quite fun to solve. So let's move on to our first puzzle. Here in this position, as you can see, black pawns are on the third rank and they are about to queen. But white is completely winning here. You can pause the video if you want to find the best move for white here. First, if you play rook to d6, trying to stop this pawn. But as you can see, these pawns are on the third rank and a rook is not able to stop it because you can just push any of these pawns, and if you try to bring your king, then he is going to play e2, and now one of these pawns are going to queen. So what if in this position you try to bring your king? Then he is going to play d2, and when you try to bring your rook, he is going to push the other pawn, and it's the same situations. Both of these pawns are on the second rank and one of them is going to queen. And here checking with the pawn doesn't even make sense because he can just bring his king down and he's winning. So what's the winning move here? Here the only move which wins the game for white is the stunning king to d6. The idea behind this move is that if he tries to play e2, then you can just bring the king. He goes t2, then you play rook takes e2, and if he queens, then you can play this amazing rook to a2 check. And as you can see, our king have cut off all these squares, so he is forced to block with the queen, and then rook takes a4 is a checkmate. But there is another variation possible here. What if after king to d6 he plays d2? Then you can play king c7, cutting off these final squares from the king. He queens, but you are going to play this amazing rook to a6 check, sacrificing the rook and forcing black's pawn to take. And now as you can see why we sacrifice the rook. You can play b6 check, king a8 is the only legal move, then b7 check, king a7 only legal move. Then you can promote to a queen and it's a checkmate. And there is one more final variation possible, which is king to b6. Then you can just take this pawn, and when he tries to push this pawn, you can play rook d3, stopping this pawn, and if he takes your pawn, you can take his pawn, and this pawn is going to fall off soon, and you win the game. Let's move on to our next chess puzzle. Here in this position, as you can see, black's king is stuck in the corner and have no legal move, so you have to be careful. If you move your bishop, then it's a stalemate, and it's the same when you move with the knight. So the only winning move is the stunning bishop to g8, sacrificing the bishop and allowing this black king to move. Now king is forced to take because he have no legal moves. Then you play knight c3, trying to bring your knight closer to this defense of this pawn. He will play king f8, then you play knight to d5. He goes king e8, and here you have to be careful and don't mess up this position by playing knight f4 because this will end in a draw. He will go king e7, then you will play knight h5, attacking this pawn. Now we will go king e6, and when you take this pawn with the knight, he is going to play king to f6, forking this knight and the pawn. And here you can try one final trick, knight to f5, because if he takes, then this pawn becomes unstoppable. But he's not going to take your knight. Instead, he's going to play king takes g6, and this is just a draw by insufficient material. So in this position, what is the winning move here? Here, the winning move is not to move your knight anywhere. Instead, play king to b2, trying to bring your king to support this pawn. He goes king d7, and here you are going to shock him with this amazing knight to f6 check, sacrificing the knight. If he takes, then this pawn becomes unstoppable. But he is not going to take. He is going to play king e6. Then your knight is under attack, so you play knight h7. He goes king f5, attacking this pawn, but you play knight to f8, defending this pawn. He goes king g5, then you can just bring the king. He plays king f5, you keep bringing the king, and after king g5, you play king to e5. He goes king g4, you play king e6, king g5, then you play king f7, and after king f5, you can take this pawn and win this game easily. Let's move on to our next chess puzzle. Here, in this position, it's white to play and it's a mate in two. As you can see, this king is stuck in the corner and none of these pieces can move. So you can pause the video if you want to find the mate in two for white here. First, if you play something like queen takes here, sacrificing the queen, then it is not going to lead you anywhere, because after this check he is going to run away. So what about sacrificing the rook? But then after king takes, it's not going to be mate in two, because he can just move his king away. There is an interesting move which is queen to g2. Seems like it's going to be an unstoppable mate in one, but it's not going to be made because of this intermezzo, bishop to a2 check, sacrificing this bishop. If king doesn't take, then he's going to queen, and now black is winning. But if he takes, then black is going to queen, and now you are forced to take, and this is a stalemate instead of checkmate. So the only move which is winning here is the stunning rook to a1, forcing this pawn to take, and then you can just take with the queen, and this is a checkmate. Let's move on to our next puzzle. White just played queen to c2, offering you a trade of queens and pinning your queen to the king. But black is completely winning here. You can pause the video if you want to find the best move for black here. Here, if you just exchange the queens, then it's not going to lead you somewhere, and white will be winning because he's up a knight. So what's the winning move here? Here, the only move which is winning is the stunning rook takes g2. He goes king h1, and here you have to be careful, because if you try to bring your rook back, which is a discovered attack from the queen, then he is going to take your queen and you are getting checkmated. So you have to play this amazing rook to g1, which is a double check, and after king takes, rook to g8 is a checkmate, and this queen cut out this final square from the king. Well, this is not the end. If you want to solve some more amazing chess puzzles like these, then you can check out this playlist. And if you want to learn some chess traps, then you can check out this right playlist. And if you don't want to miss the upcoming videos, then don't forget to subscribe.